Throughout the last few years, I've shown you countless clips of great white sharks near humans. In most cases, the humans had no idea the sharks were there. In the following clips, a couple locals become the more curious species, at least temporarily. For context, this area is normally frequented by smaller juvenile white sharks. As is often the case here when a drone is in the air over water, people, for the most part, now understand that it means a shark is nearby. When the stand-up paddleboarder approaches the first shark, it is quickly evident that these sharks are not your typical juvenile white sharks. The way sharks react to humans that happen to be nearby seems to be consistent. For the most part, sharks tend to be indifferent. In many instances, the sharks continue doing what they were doing previously, typically just cruising along. The board in this clip is 10.5 feet long, making the shark approximately 11 to 13 feet long. This shark is very likely a subadult. Here, the shark goes from calmly cruising along to changing course quickly. Watch this. And the response, as I've seen nearly every single time, is one that sees the shark reposition itself into a more authoritative position. Nearly every time, they prefer to follow a subject rather than be followed. Once the shark settles, it leaves the area altogether. But what about the other shark? How will it react when approached? In a similar fashion, the shark seeks to reposition itself. The movement on this one is faster. One could say this shark doesn't like to be surprised. At one point, the shark pursues briefly, displaying a bit more curiosity than the previous shark. Eventually, it moves on. These interactions all occurred with the humans knowing the shark is nearby. It is quite telling that in most cases the sharks seem to try to reverse the tables once they realize they are being tailed. But the most hair-raising encounters are those that involve humans not knowing the shark is there. The following is one of the closest encounters I've filmed this summer. There are several swimmers and surfers in this clip, and a lone shark is nearby. This shark is headed away from the swimmers. I briefly switched to my zoom lens with my camera to film the shark in the foreground. This is when another shark appears, and it is headed directly toward the swimmers. Once again, I switch back to a wide-angle lens and observe from a distance. At this point, I put the drone over the shark and hold the position to gauge whether the shark is still headed toward the swimmers. When I confirmed the shark had not changed course, I fly the drone directly to the swimmers. They now see the drone, but do they see the shark? Likely not. And so I reverse back to the shark. It has gotten significantly closer. It is at this moment that I realize this is a shark I've filmed before. And once again, it is getting close to people. And so I lift and lower the drone several times to inform the swimmers a shark is nearby. but they merely began waving at me instead. The shark is now very close. I don't often get nervous filming, but for some reason, this time I did. The shark is merely a body length away from the unknowing swimmer before it abruptly changes course. It then swims away, and the unknowing humans continue, oblivious to what just occurred. I mentioned earlier that I recognize this shark. This is the shark. This happened some 50 miles away from the place I first filmed it. It suffers from a significant boat propeller injury, and while I've documented an incredible healing progress on its injuries, I have now logged yet another instance of this shark approaching humans with what seems to be a greater frequency than others I've filmed. Why do you think this is so? There is no way to quantify these observations, and much of it can be said to be anecdotal, but it is interesting nonetheless. Earlier this summer, when I filmed this shark near my kayak, I could not see the shark whatsoever, even when it was this close. So it is no surprise that swimmers can't see the sharks when my drone is above. I hope to be able to film this injured shark again in the near future. I want to see if it reacts differently. Is it possible to document this shark's reaction to me if I'm the one nearby? And will it be different? I believe so. While other sharks do approach humans with some frequency, I don't often see the same shark do it over and over. Usually they see it's a human and won't come by for the rest of the day. Does an injured shark approach humans with more frequency? That is the question. There's only one way to find out. I'm going to have to find this shark again. That is half the battle. Join me in the search. Thanks for watching.